A South Australian man who's spent almost 40 years in prison for a crime he insists he didn't commit is making one last bid for freedom this week. Derek Bromley hopes the High Court will overturn his conviction for murdering Stephen Dukosa, whose body was found floating in Adelaide's River Torrens in 1984.
Russell Malera only got to know his brother Derek Bromley as a prisoner behind bars. Part of the stolen generation, the Nurungga Ngarrindjeri men were taken from their family as children.
He is my brother, and we haven't had much time together. We haven't had an opportunity to grow together, you know, but he's still my brother.
That's because Derek Bromley has been in jail for nearly 40 years now. He's serving a life sentence for the murder of Stephen Dukosa. His body was recovered after spending 5 days in Adelaide's River Torrens in 1984. Bromley could have left prison in 2006 if he admitted guilt to the parole board, but he refused.
And I'm very proud of what he's done, the way he stood up to all the temptations to get out of jail. He stood up to that and stood up for his personal values, which is truth.
Bromley and his supporters argue serious questions remain over his conviction. An eyewitness who was suffering from bipolar and schizoaffective disorder at the time of the incident, and the evidence of the state's chief forensic pathologist, Colin Manock. Dr Bob Moles has spent the last 20 years studying miscarriages of justice that occurred during Dr Manock's 30 years as state pathologist.
It turned out that he was never actually qualified as a pathologist. He was never qualified to do autopsies. He was never qualified to give evidence in court as an expert witness.
There should have been a royal commission into all the cases that have been handled by Dr Colin Manock. But unfortunately, successive governments have not gone down that path because they know the implications of that.
Bromley has been seeking leave to appeal for 10 years. This week's hearing is his last chance in the justice system.
He's surprisingly lacking in vengeance. I would have thought if you'd been in prison for 40 years, something you hadn't done, you'd be full of rage or sort of animosity towards the people who have done that. He's not like that.
But whatever the High Court decides, Bromley and his supporters say they will not give up their pursuit of justice. Peter Doherty, SBS World News.